guys, what's going on? It is Ash here coming at you today in Raid Shadow Legends. Today is going to be an amazing video. I'm so excited for it because I'm not alone. I'm here joined on my first ever collab on this channel. We had Chosen from Chofly on the main channel on a few videos, but today I have Hell Hades on. Hades, welcome to the channel, man. How you doing?
Hey Ash, how you doing? Thanks for having me on, man. Looking
Dude,
forward to it.
I'm so excited to have you on. I am a huge fan of your channel. I've learned so much from your YouTube channel. Everybody watching right now just needs to take a moment now, pause the video, or after the video, make sure you remember to go ahead and click on the subscribe link below for Hell Hades' YouTube channel. He has, I mean, you have so much great content, but most specifically, recently, I watched your Clan Boss series. You have 4 now out on Clan Boss? Or is it more?
Yeah, I've got four done. I'm actually working on my 5th, but it's been really well received as a series. It's been a lot of fun to do as well, actually.
It is unreal. Some of the most informative stuff I've watched on Raid Shadow Legends. So super excited to have you here today. You are an expert. You are my guru, and you actually provide this as a service to some of your patrons and to other people, kind of like an account review type thing, right?
Yeah, so it really started off as something which was so small. I just offered as a free giveaway a couple of opportunities for me to go in and do like an account tune-up for somebody. Okay. I didn't have a load of gems to throw at people and stuff, so I thought I'd just do a slightly different style of giveaway. That went really well, and then I started to get a load of people kind of messaging me saying, can you do mine? And yeah, it's kind of grew from there, really. We've got Patreons that I'll do a kind of consultative style hour or so with them, or 45 minutes with them, just to kind of try and support people, push them in the right direction, and ultimately help them grow their accounts. That's what I'm looking to do.
Yeah, and we just had like a chat before we hit record, and I'm just like, dude, we just got to save this for the video because there's so much to talk about here, and I don't want it to be so niche to my account, like every single champion. So we're gonna try to touch on some like broad topics to help you guys out as well in this video. And if you guys like this, we'll definitely do more. So just go ahead and drop a comment. And I believe you're posting this on your channel too, Hades, or?
Yeah,
maybe?
no, I'd really like to. I think it's
Cool.
It kind of shows a style of work that I do with people, and that doesn't always get across in my videos. So yeah, really love to do.
Well, hello to Hell Hades audience too. I'm just as big a fan as you guys are of him. So hi guys, I'm Ash. So anyway, what we're gonna do today is let's just jump into it here. Actually, one last question is, give us some context on you. How long have you been playing? And when was it then that you kind of, I don't know, would you call yourself an elite player? I mean, to me, you're like the cream of the crop. Like, give us some perspective
Thanks,
at where you are in the game.
Yeah, so I started playing the game in April last year now. So 8 months in. Okay. This is the first gotcha style game I've ever played, actually. So I've played a lot of mobile games and a lot of competitive PC-based games, really. So things like League of Legends, World of Warcraft, FPS games as well, like Counter-Strike. So I've kind of always been in competitive play in gaming. Mm-hmm. And I kind of fell on Raid. It suited my work life really well. It was a game I could play while I was commuting. That's generally why I picked it up.
Sure.
And yeah, really loved it, actually. Just fell in love with the game. I'm used to doing that kind of grindy based game anyway. And I guess I've just got like a brain that picks up information really well.
Sure.
So I just kind of pushed myself to gain as much information as I could, as quickly as I could about the game. And for me, I'm really competitive. I can't help myself but try and push to be the best at every game that I play or anything that I do, really. Mm-hmm. So I've done the same with Raid. I've kind of pushed myself to get to end game as quickly as I could. I surrounded myself with people that had the knowledge of the end game and kind of grown from there, really.
Awesome.
So,
yeah.
I am in the end game. I'm in the end game. I'm pushing kind of 2 key Ultimate Nightmare daily on auto. I'm in Platinum Arena and fighting with the big guys. And all of the dungeon stuff is now for me about how fast can I do it, what sort of comps can I run, how can I show interesting content with perhaps some rares that people might not have really thought to use. That's where I'm at the moment.
Very cool, very cool. So what is it like? Do you have a favorite champion, like just all around? Obviously not the most powerful or anything like that.
Probably my favorite champion.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, you cut off a sec there.
No. Yeah, go ahead.
Go down. Yeah, so you're saying favorite champion?
Yeah.
Yeah, so my favorite champion, which I don't have, is
Ooh.
Mountain King. I would really love a Mountain King.
That's really awkward, right?
I know.
I have 2 Mountain Kings.
I was literally, guys, I was looking at his roster before we started, and I saw a Mountain King. I was like, I'd really love a Mountain King. And then we looked in his vault, and he's got a second one in the vault. It makes me feel sick.
You need to trade champions. You need to be able to trade champions, right? And I'm sure I'm jealous of 99% of your champions. And yeah, it really, that's really unfortunate. So I'm surprised that you like him, though, because I kind of thought that he kind of sucked, but it's really endgame arena, right, where he shines?
Yeah, he's so good at endgame arena. He's just like an absolute man mountain, and he hits so hard. Like, he just absolutely nukes tanks.
Yeah.
So he's super cool. He's really fun. But I guess for me, my favorite champion of my champion pool is probably Alton. I mean, he's just so versatile.
Alton?
Alton, yeah.
Okay,
Alton,
you broke up a little bit. Okay, got you.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so he's really good in the arena. He's really good in dungeons. He's fantastic in clan boss. And you can do some really fun stuff with him. So you can make him hit like crazy hard. I've been hitting for like 160k crits in the arena, and I've had a couple of fun videos on it, and it's just boom, here he goes, he's taking someone out. It's really good fun.
Okay, so we have a lot to talk about today. Before we get into all the like the specific areas of the game, I wanted to ask you about progress missions, right? Because I'm in a weird spot, and I imagine that some other people are out there like that too. Because I know based on our conversation we had pre-recording that I could really, really benefit from having Arbiter, right? And she's what you get from basically beating the game, beating these quests, these missions rather. So the problem is I didn't pay any attention to these missions, and I feel like, oh my god, it's gonna take me forever to go back and do all this tedious stuff that, like equip a champion with 6 offensive artifacts. Like, I don't know, man. Tell me, is it worth it? Like, is there any way to game the system? Is it worth it for me to actually go through this? Will it be what's your thought on this? What should I do?
So looking at the roster before we start recording, I'd say yes, it's really worth it. She's a great champion. She's a great champion in like all content of the game. So that's the kind of end goal. And the rewards you get along the way are actually really good as well. So you get quite a few tomes, which are quite hard to pick up in this game. It's probably the hardest thing to acquire in the game. You get a lot of gems and stuff, which is kind of here nor there, really. But you'll find that once you get through a couple of the tedious ones, you'll blitz 4 or 5, 6 even. You might have already done some of them. You probably have. So you'll clear a load quickly, and then you'll get another one. You're like, okay, I need to actually put a bit of time into this one. But none of it will take you much time.
Okay, fair enough. So I will actually do that. So you'd advise just like taking out whatever, half an hour each day or something, and just kind of banging out as much of these as I can.
Yeah, the thing to look out for, the thing that takes the time here is where it's like, get some of these lesser potions from a Affinity dungeon. You've got to wait for the right day to do it and that type of stuff.
Okay.
That's the thing for you that's going to take any time. Everything else here is just you'll way past it. But what I would say to people that are watching that perhaps aren't as far advanced in the game as you are is this is quite a good benchmark for your teams to see if you're on the right track. So you probably had a good amount of knowledge or researched the game a bit more than perhaps some people do when they come into the game. But this is actually a good benchmark to say, okay, am I building up the right type of things? Am I collecting my arena battle tokens? Am I doing, the right sort of level of Fire Knights and stuff like that, which you've already been doing probably because you already knew about the game. But actually, a lot of people that play the game from scratch, this is a good benchmark for where you should be.
No, totally valid points. Thank you for that advice. I'm going to go ahead and start my missions. So moving over to the Great Hall, I actually didn't intend to spend a lot of time on the Great Hall. I made some mistakes early on, as I'm sure a lot of people do. But you actually noticed something that I hadn't mentioned before in my Great Hall development. Go ahead and share my big mistake.
Yeah, sure. And it's something I see a lot. So when I do my takeover videos, I give a bit of an account of what I would change for that person, what I would focus on sort of going forward, that type of thing. And one of the things here is you spent a bit of time and effort on attack. And for me, attack's the kind of weakest stat in this Great Hall by quite a distance. And the reason why I say that, so accuracy is probably the kind of number one area to go for, then defense for me, then HP, then crit damage, and then resistance. Although resistance, that starts to add a lot more value as you get further on in the game. But the reason for that is that all of those other stats I just mentioned benefit every champion in the game. So even if you've got an attack-based champion, they still really benefit from additional defense, additional HP, additional crit damage, whereas attack-based champions are the only champions in the game that benefit from attack. So it's like a third of the champion pool benefits from attack, whereas 100% of the champion pool benefit from all of the other stats.
Yeah, that's totally right. I mean, I wish I could get those attack trophies back, because you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
It makes perfect sense. And like you said, even some of the damage dealers in this game are based, their damage is based on defense anyway, so it's just not even going to apply to them. It's not even going to matter. So it's great advice there. So don't invest in attack. Save that to last. All right. So any other like notes here in the Great Hall? I think you covered it all, right? You kind of went through the tiers, accuracy. First, after accuracy, defense, or does it just depend?
So I think defense for me is the best stat in the game to really push yourself in clan boss, and it's the most important stat. But in terms of benefit from this, so there's two different ways to look at this. One, accuracy and defense are kind of the best ones to focus on to get yourself through content, and the best ones for content. In terms of the best return for the kind of level of stats you get for each level, actually resistance and accuracy give you better return than any other stat on this board. So you go up in 10s on accuracy and resistance, whereas you go up in like 2s and 3% on the other stuff. And if you were to look at a piece of gear, actually you'll get 10 plus or so accuracy on a piece of gear, and you'll get like 7% crit damage, let's say, on a decent piece. So you actually get like one whole Great Hall bonus from a piece of gear for accuracy, but you get like 4 Great Hall bonuses from a piece of gear for crit damage, as an example. I don't know if that's come across properly, but
no, it does. It's more bang for your buck, just in terms of sheer value of the stats.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, definitely, I'm going to continue to. I'm actually going to prioritize. It's tough. I'm definitely kind of torn between accuracy, defense for clan boss, and resist, because I'm really keen on getting like a high tier arena team, which we'll talk about in a minute. I don't want to go right to arena though. I actually want to go next to a clan boss, because coming off of your clan boss guides, you killed it again. I'll link those videos for you guys in the description, my viewers. But let's talk a little bit. I speed tuned my Nightmare based on your specifications in that video. You guys can check that out if you're curious how to speed tune. So I feel like I'm pretty happy with my Nightmare team. I put this on auto, which is kind of crappy. So I could have been, I think if I manually did it, I would have been probably in 2 keys around like 41 to 44 million, because
nice.
Because of Cerise's, she doesn't auto on, well, all of them, like Nethril. Okay, let me take it one by one here, just on my team real quickly. So Nethril, on a poison guy like Nethril, I get the best damage. I think I just get the best overall if I'm just using his A1 and getting poisons the entire match. Is that correct?
Yeah, 100% right. Yeah.
Okay, so that doesn't happen when I'm on auto, so that accounts for some of my damage, and then some other things here and there with Cerise too. I think the biggest issue with my team is Cerise, right? Like she's not that great. She's the only debuffer I have because I don't have Tyrell. But you had a few other comments on my team in general. Anything that you have so far regarding anything?
Yeah. So looking at this right now, so your leader is Bad El, Bad El Khazar, and your attack down, decrease attack champion is Madame Cerise.
Yes.
So those two, in effect, at the moment, those two are your weak links. So Madame Cerise does not necessarily keep decrease attack down for the whole fight, which is kind of what you need to get really far in Nightmare Clan Boss. And Bad El is in the leader spot, so I'd imagine he's the one who's being stunned. Is that right?
I feel like it kind of it switches between Bad El and Turvold.
Yeah, so in effect, what you want is you want somebody other than Bad El to be stunned, because Bad El is your cleanser, which as soon as you got that cleanse working, you basically never lose a turn for stun. So I know why you got him in your leader spot. He's the only person in that team that can be in a leader spot with any sort of effective buff.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's probably actually losing you damage.
Yeah, this is actually based, this is the screen here. This is actually Ultra Nightmare right now, but yeah, I am a tricky spot because he's the only, Bad El's the only guy who has any clan boss ability in, out of my characters that I have built out. So we actually talked a little bit off air, and you had a suggestion based on my champions. First, I feel like I should just probably show everybody all my champions. Obviously, I have my vault too, but you noticed something that you think could make an immediate difference in a few areas of my account, right?
Yeah, sure, yeah. So I think in terms of clan boss, I would take Madame Cerise out and I would sub in Rearguard Sergeant. So Rearguard Sergeant, down a couple from there.
Yeah, where the heck is
Rearguard
she?
Sergeant, yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, I'll find her.
Yeah,
Okay, there she is.
yeah. So she's actually got the same two abilities that you're using Madame Cerise for at the moment, but she
Mm.
does them more effectively. That's the first. But the rest of her kit is actually much more tuned up for the clan boss.
Yeah, and you can
So
totally see that. Yeah, you get the ally protection along with the decreased attack, which you said decreased defense is always going to be on there because on her A1 and it's 2 turns,
yeah,
and
because
she
you've
also
got a counter attacker, she's basically
Mhm.
getting 4 turns every 2 turns of the clan boss. So that would just be up 100% of the time, even unbooked. That would be up 100% of the.
Yeah.
So that's really strong. The other thing, because you use Skull Crusher as your counter attacker, Skull Crusher puts on an ally protection when he puts counter attack up, and what you'll find with that is he takes the first big hit when the first AOE goes off from the clan boss. His unkillable then drops out, and the second big hit, the bigger hit of the two, goes off, and his unkillable is not on there anymore, and that's when he will die. So what Rearguard Sergeant does really well is she's got an ally protection, and she can take the ally protection off of Skull Crusher on that second big hit, and basically be the second shield for your team.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
with you running someone like Turvo, actually, firstly, she's going to buff him up. So more buffs means he does more damage. And
Mhm.
secondly, she's going to protect him for longer and he'll last longer into the fight.
Yeah, makes perfect sense. And her aura I can actually use 33%,
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
which will
Yeah.
be is so much better than Bad L's. I feel like Bad L for me is like I pulled him and I was so excited. I was like, I have one of the best legendaries in the entire game. And then I gotta be honest, like I'm a little disappointed in him. Like there's no.
Really?
Yeah,
I
I
don't
should.
know. I think that's a bit. Oh, I don't know, man. That's a bit much.
You know what I think it was? I think it was just, hey, maybe it's the way I have him built. Let's take a quick look. Like I'll show you my total stats. I have like a bunch of speed. No, what do I have immortal and speed on him right now, but I don't know. Does his overall stats like kind of square with the best value?
Yeah. So one thing. So if I was doing an account takeover right now,
Yeah.
what I would pick up on this is speed is right, speed's good, accuracy's good, your HP is high, and your defense is too low. So I'd imagine one of your gloves or your chest is an HP percentage.
Yep. But
Yeah.
chest is defense and gloves are HP.
So for me, defense outranks HP by a country mile in this game.
Okay.
It's so
Okay.
far beyond it. It's insane. And also, if you were to look at your ring and your amulet, so for me, both of these main stats would be defense. So that one isn't. So that ring, even though you've got a good defense roll on that ring, 16%,
Yeah.
if you just got a base defense ring to replace it, it would be a better ring.
Okay. Cool. And then I have accuracy with defense, so the banner is really solid.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah. That's
All right, cool. So other than that, though, just trading off a little bit and these are like the takeaways I hope my viewers really pick up on it, and your viewers too, is like even if they don't have Bad L, just having those little nuances of okay, defense is way more important than HP in terms of overall priority. Yeah, I think that Bad L for me it's just like he's really solid. I don't want to give the impression that I was like, I think I just had the highest of high, like everything's gonna be amazing now. I have battle, it's done, game over, And it's like, okay, well, no champion can have realistically that much difference. I think it's just
well, I tell you the value he brings to you, and I've got Bad L, so I know this firsthand. He enables you to not need to build lifesteal on all of your clan boss team, and he's the only champion in the game that can do it. So that's why I think he's so valuable because you don't have to put lifesteal on, you start to gain all these other stats. You see, you've got a speed set stat, you've got an immortal set stat bonus, and you can actually do that throughout your whole team. Whereas 95% of the people that play this game without Bad L have to go lifesteal across their whole team, which means it limits their capability.
Let me ask you again a follow up on that. Then, so you're saying all my viewers who don't have Bad L right now if you're running a clan boss team and you don't have lifesteal on all your characters, then they're doing it wrong.
I'd say you're not doing the damage that you could do. Yeah, you'd struggle to keep your team going. Yeah.
So you should basically, how should they prioritize their lifesteal sets? Let's just say they only have, whatever, 12 pieces of good lifesteal gear. Should it be going on your support, your damage dealers? Like, who would you put it on first? The heavy damage dealers?
So what I try and do is I try and even out the defensive stats of my team. Because basically, as soon as you're in the clan boss team, you've got 5 parts. As soon as one of the parts falls down, your team pretty much starts to collapse. Mm-hmm. So if you've got somebody that's got, let's say, 5,000 defense, you've tanked him up really well, he's got really great defense, and you're thinking, brilliant, he's going to last for ages. He's only as solid as the guy that's got 2,500 defense that's going to go down first. So what I do is I balance the defense of my team, and in my team, I'm on an Ultimate Nightmare, but I've got around a 4.5k defense base across my whole team. And the way I actually did it, so I pushed right up to like 6k on Ultan, and I've pulled that back by putting crit rate gloves on him because I don't need him to have as much defense as that. He can't outlive my guys for more than 1 or 2 turns anyway, because as soon as they die, he dies.
Yeah. Okay.
So I would balance it, but basically what you want to do, this is my kind of approach. It's get yourself to the right speed, make sure you've got enough accuracy, and then stack defense. That's kind of like my 3-tier strategy, if you like, if you want it in layman's terms. That's
I love that. I love that. Okay, that makes perfect sense. Now, in terms of any other of my champions, this is going to be a little bit of a selfish question, but hopefully some of you guys might have the champions too. In terms of the rest of my champions, is there anybody else besides Rearguard Sergeant that you feel like it's worth me kind of investing in or considering to add in anywhere else on my team, or is it pretty solid?
I think it's solid. You've got some good champions. You've got in Nethril, one of the best poisons in the game. Bad El is a poisoner and a great healer. You're lacking really somebody that keeps decreased attack on for the whole match, the whole event. And if you've got that, I think actually your team is really solid. What I would say is with Turvold, he's very difficult to keep alive in Ultimate Fan Boss.
Yeah.
Even in Nightmare, actually, to be fair, he's really difficult to keep up. He's
always the first to die. Yeah.
Yeah, so I've seen people do crazy damage with him. You've got him built to do crazy damage.
Oh yeah,
so
he puts
the actual build is cool.
Yeah, even on Ultimate Nightmare, my Turvold hits for his higher crits will be like around 200k, which is, and then on regular Nightmare they'll be around 300, up to like around 300. So it's insane damage. He out damages all my poisoners, Occult Brawler and Nethril, but still he's, like I said, he puts out the most damage, but he's still always the first to die. He's hard to keep alive.
Yeah, for sure. So what I think is until you've got Arbiter, I think you struggle to use him on Ultimate Nightmare and get the sort of full potential for your team. I actually wonder if you would do more damage if you built Miscreated Monster for Ultimate Nightmare and subbed out Turvold for Ultra. So he's another very defensive. Basically, what you've got here is you've got the best poisoner in the game, matched with a healer that can poison. So you've got poisons ticking all day long. Yeah. So actually, your philosophy, your kind of setup should be stay alive. This is for Ultra Nightmare. Stay alive for as long as I can.
Yeah.
And you've got champions that can really help you stay alive in Rearguard Sergeant, Skull Crusher, and Miscreated Monster. Those 3 together are like a complete meat shield for your poison.
Yeah, for Bad El and Nethril. Now, I also have Occult Brawler, but I feel like he puts too much poison to pair with Bad El because it's like there's just too many debuffs on the clan boss. So that's why I run Nethril instead.
Yeah, I think Nethril's. So if you were running on auto, I'd say Occult Brawler might be a better option, but on manual, Nethril's definitely the better option. Definitely.
Okay,
so
cool.
Firstly, if you look at the 2 side by side, Nethril's got a better base defense to build from. Occult Brawler has got a very low base defense, which means he's harder to tank up. And like I said before, my third kind of objective is build defense. Your defense here is probably
too
maybe
low.
like 2k below.
It's really
where
bad.
It really should be. Yeah.
So
I'm not saying that to like throw it at you. It's
I want you
like,
to.
That's what it is. That's the reality.
Well, here's the thing. Here's the thing, though, too. Is like I need defense either way, which is I totally get that. I realize how awfully low this is, but at the same time, Nethril's like a key component in my arena team, so I'm trying to like kind of balance those 2 roles. But obviously, more defense will help out either way. So You're saying less HP. What do I even have on him? An accuracy chest because I don't have a banner. Yeah, it's tough, right? It's like you kind of piecemealing gear together. I wouldn't obviously have an accuracy chest on him if I had the accuracy banner. So I don't know.
Yeah,
But
yeah. So what I would say here, and I've done videos on exactly this
yeah.
exact setup what you got here. So you probably actually need to find a way to get him out of your arena team. You actually need to build teams in this game, especially if you've got a clan boss team. They're built so differently from any other part of the game.
Yeah.
But I would fight to get the accuracy chest off him, and I'd find your accuracy somewhere else. So I'd take him out of the frost set and put him in accuracy set, and then you've done it already.
Okay. Yeah, that's true. It's just the problem is I don't have the gear for it. That's the problem, like
Yeah,
everybody in the
definitely.
game, right? But
Yeah,
you're right.
absolutely, yeah.
But that's something I definitely need to prioritize. Okay, so last kind of thing on Clan Boss, because this is something that you go over really in depth, and I will refer you guys again to his Clan Boss guide. But in terms of speed tuning, so you have the parameters. I think it's I want to say it's like 170 to 189 or something for a nightmare.
So the clan boss for nightmare runs at 170.
Okay.
And if you keep yourself 171 to 189, you'll never overtake the clan boss. You'll go one turn for one turn. You'll basically take a turn, they'll take a turn. You take a turn, he takes a turn. And that's the way it runs.
Mm-hmm.
Which is actually, when you've got a counter attacker, it's the best use of your damage is to make sure that you have a turn for every turn that the clan boss has.
Yep.
If you were to not run a counter attacker, you actually just want to try and overtake the clan boss and do as much damage as you can and just try and pump hits in as much as you can. But if you've got a counter attacker, it's definitely the best way to get damage is to get yourself to the right speed to match the clan boss. So 171 to 189, and then build defense.
Okay, so Skull Crusher, Martyr, or Valkyrie users speed tune. Everybody else go as high speed as possible and defense. Whatever, all the other stats, accuracy, whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, sounds cool. All right, anything else that we need to cover for Clan Boss? Again, if you want more info on speed tuning, feel free to check out those videos. What was that?
Yeah, I think it's worth saying. So for Ultra Nightmare, the actual speed the clan boss runs at is 190. So you actually need to increase your speed to 191 to 209 to be able to fight the clan boss and be at a kind of turn for turn set. But there is a way to run the same speed that you've got for Nightmare in Ultra Nightmare and not have to completely change all your gear, which is quite beneficial. So the way you do that is you get through the first 3 attacks from the clan boss to the point where he does his first stun, and you don't want to use your counter attack before that point. What you then do is after the first stun hits, you treat it as if you were back on Nightmare. You use your counter attack as the kind of last champion to go, and you'll find that it just runs at the right speed for the rest of the fight. So you can actually, at that stage, if you had a team set up to do so, you could auto from that point.
Okay. That's perfect. I'm going to do that then. You know what I think I was doing is I was using that strategy, just like you said in your Clan Boss guide, but I stupidly put the counterattack on before the stun, right? So that defeats the whole entire purpose. Okay, so that will help out a lot. Exactly. What about when you're doing... Okay, so I'm sure most of my viewers are just attacking easy through brutal, right? So is speed tuning worth it down in these difficulty ranges, or should they just treat lifesteal gear with as much speed as they can and just try to get as much damage in?
Yeah, I think you just want to push speed. So I push speed and damage so really you do your damage through poisons and War Master and Giant Slayer Pro. Mm-hmm. So if you just push speed, you'll do a lot more War Master hits, a lot more Giant Slayer hits. And I'd say probably up until Nightmare, really, you don't really need to worry about speed tuning because the speed that the clan boss runs at is actually quite slow at those levels. Mm-hmm. So you don't really get the benefit that you do. And also the clan boss, his defense scales massively as you get into those higher levels. Yeah. So you don't have the same sort of defense or offense coming from him. So it's not anywhere near as important to kind of stack that defense of your team up to 3-4K or something crazy.
Okay. When it comes to building a balanced team, in Clan Boss, what are like the key roles that you need to have? Again, like kind of a basic question because I want to appeal to every type of viewer.
Yeah. So for me, the most important one is a decrease attack position, which is actually the one you lack the most, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So decrease attack stops the clan boss from hitting us hard, which means you last longer. You've then got poisoner. So poison is your damage. And the more poisons you can stack on the clan boss, the better. Up until Nightmare, you then want somebody who's going to control your speed. So somebody like an Apothecary is really good at that. Hycatoon, someone that gives you a speed boost and a turn meter boost at the same time. Those two things really help. And then you start to scale damage from things like decreased defense on the clan boss and weaken on the clan boss.
Mm-hmm.
So actually, up until Brutal, weaken is your better effect. And then when you get into Nightmare and past Nightmare, decreased defense actually gives you more bang for your buck. And ideally, you have both of them on, but that's kind of end game stuff.
Okay, great. That's actually great. Yeah.
And obviously, counterattack is really important, and I think that's pretty clear for most people. It's hard to get a counterattacker, but when you've got one, it's much easier to do the clan boss. And increased defense when you get into later levels is also a really valuable skill. So like on your Rearguard Sergeant there, she puts increased defense up. Actually, something I just touched on here, because not everyone knows this. An aura affects everybody's base skill. So if you've got a defense of, let's say, 1,000, and you've got somebody that's got a 20% aura, then he's going to boost that person's defense by 200. If you've got somebody with a skill, which is increased defense by 60%, it increases their overall defense after you've geared them by 60%. So that skill, you can't kind of, it's almost like a complete polar opposite to the aura. It's so far beyond the aura, it's insane.
Okay, that's really good to know. So who are some good champions to fill those roles? Maybe non-legendaries.
Yeah, so Steel Skull is a fantastic champion because he's got the increased defense and he's got poison. You've got somebody like a Tyrell who does decreased attack and decreased defense. Actually, Rearguard Sergeant is a fantastic champion that does a number of those different pieces for you as well. Trying to think who else we've got now. Oh, actually, I've just been doing videos on it. It just goes out your head.
No worries. Sorry to put you on the spot, but yeah, I feel like I'm trying to think of like a weaken or a defense down champion. Like, are there any? I'm sure there are, but are there any like usable like rares in that category or?
Yeah, so there are. There's actually I don't, off the top of my head, I couldn't tell you, but
I'm gonna put it in the pinned comment. So I'll put it in the pinned comment if you think of it, okay? But let's move on to the next area because I feel like this is already going to be a long video, but this could be and sometimes on these account takeovers, you spend like 4 hours with these people, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
okay,
sometimes it can be a good few hours just kind of working through gear and stuff. So it takes a while.
Okay, so let's not go that far. So let's go to the next area. The next area I want to talk about before Arena is so my Dragon's Lair team is fine. I can pretty much clear it with a bunch of different champions. The one area that I really struggle is Spider's Den 19. Now, I'm sure a lot of my viewers are struggling in a variety of different areas. And the Spider Den, I find to be really challenging dungeon. So, specifically a Spider 19, what can I do with my champions? But even more broadly, like what is the best overall Spider progression strategy?
Yeah, sure. So Spider is definitely one of the areas that people come to me on about the most. That and Clan Boss, those two. So generally what I say to someone is, give me 2 or 3 priorities that we're going to focus on in this session. Mm-hmm. And Spiders is normally one.
Okay.
And there's there's a few different strats that you can run for Spider, and it's purely dependent on kind of champs that you've pulled, the situation you're in. I will call out actually, Stu Gaming has got some really good Spider videos where he's using uncommons, he's using rares, and he's got kind of 2 or 3 different strategies that are really worth checking out. It's worth checking out his channel just for the Spider content because he does a good job of it.
Yeah, Stu Gaming. I'll include the link below. I've watched a ton of his content as well. So yeah. Okay. So what are the fundamentals then? I mean, obviously AoE, right? So like everybody's like, yeah, you need AoE.
Well, what I would say is, so until you get to stage 14, AoE is king because you can just nuke down the spiderlings pretty well, and you can do some pretty. Basically, the spiderlings become a non thing because you can just kill them off. When you get to kind of 15 and upwards, spiderlings start to hit really hard. They get tankier and they're much harder to just AoE down. So you actually need to start building teams that can manipulate turn meter, that can shield your guys from the damage that's coming in, and that can do enough damage to the main spider before she does her heal. So there's a number of ways to do it. There's basically a number of comps that you can do. There's a number of different kind of strategies that you can run. But if I call out two, which is probably the most accessible to people, really.
Yeah, that'd be perfect.
Especially since they dropped Ultimate Gaelic in the Amazon Prime. So if anyone picked him up, he's a really useful champion for spiders. So kind of number one in terms of comps is to run a composition that can put on an HP burn. So HP burn, an AoE HP burn, actually, I should say. HP burn really, really hurts the spider. So if you can get an AoE HP burn, basically every time one of the little spiderlings moves, you do a chunk of damage to the main spider. And what you can find is that damage can pretty much wipe out the spider alone. So at that stage, all you're looking to do is to pair champions with that champion that could do an AoE HP burn that controls the spiderlings and controls the turn meter of the main spider.
Okay.
So looking at your kind of composition, if we go into your stage 19,
sure.
The biggest challenge with stage 19 and 15 is that it's force affinity.
Yeah.
And basically most of the champions in this game that are really strong on spiders are magic affinity. So they struggle against the force. They've got the weak affinity, you get weak hits, you get debuffs not landing, that type of stuff. So it becomes really difficult.
Exactly.
I mean, what I find is I quite often have to manual through 19 to then get to 20, and 20 becomes a much easier ride again. So
well, I'm looking forward to that. Do you have any ideas? So this is the comp that I can get closest with. I do have 2 Cold Hearts and 2 Royal Guards, although I'm extremely reluctant to invest in leveling them up just to clear spiders. But if it leads to a speed farming, manual situation where I can, end up clearing 20 in 10 seconds, then I'm okay with it. Is that my best bet? Or for 19, do you see any champions here that I have Ultimate Gaelic? Like, is there something that I can do differently here?
So I guess one thing I've seen on your kind of roster is you have got some of the best champions for like a real speed farm when you're at level 20. So you've got 2 Royal Guards that you could build. You've got Ghostborn. You've got Kaimar. Those 4 champions alone could kill the spider in about 20 seconds. So in terms of the tools that you've got for endgame, you're in a really good spot.
I'm good. Just need to get there.
Exactly. So what I would suggest, looking at your roster here, even though she's still the negative affinity, you've got Trunda, who has got an AoE HP burn on your 3rd row down there. So what she also does is she stuns on that same ability, or she's got stuns on her other abilities. So a spiderling that's stunned and burning will go to move, won't move, miss a turn, but the actual spider still takes damage. So it's actually it's the best strategy you can put in there. And you've got a number of champions that can stun on an AoE basis here. If you've got champions that can freeze, stun, daze, anything like that, just talking to the sort of wider audience, what you want to do is lay the HP burns down. So Ultimate Gaelic can do this as well, just not quite as effective as Trunda there. What you don't want is someone like a Biggin. So you've picked Biggin here. You don't want someone like a Biggin because he kills the spiders. You don't want the spiders to die. You just want them to be burning and not moving.
Okay. All right.
Really important. It's a really important thing to note because
that seems super obvious, but I'm glad you said it because I didn't know it.
And I've built teams. I'm like, this is going to be perfect, and then I've built them too strong in effect. And you're killing off the spiderlings, so they're not moving, they're not burning the main spider, and you don't have enough damage in your comp.
Okay. All right. Well, that makes perfect sense. So now you would recommend going back to where I am, Spiders 19. I need to get like a Trunda or an Ultimate Gaelic, basically an AoE HP burner in there.
It's the best. It's the best technique when you get to level sort of 18 plus. Is that AoE HP burn.
Okay.
And even if you don't have the champions that you've got here, so you've got champions that can do AoE stuns, turn meter manipulation, that type of stuff. So you've got some really good champs. If you don't have that, you just need somebody that does an AoE. And you put them in stun gear, or or provoke gear or daze gear, but ideally stun gear, because stun gear is by far the kind of best set to use for that.
Mm-hmm.
And what you're doing, so I use a Bellower in my setup. I
Okay.
put a Bellower in. He's got an AoE on every ability. He's in stun gear. He's not built to do damage. He's got really poor damage, but he goes quickly and he stuns often. So the spiders are burning. They're getting stunned. My guys aren't taking the hits. And then really the rest of your team is then there to manipulate the turn meter of the main spider and to keep your guys alive if the spiderlings do start moving.
Okay.
So for you, you've got Cold Heart can manipulate turn meter really well, and Nuke. You've got Nephril manipulates turn meter really well and is the right affinity for you.
Mm-hmm.
You've got Miscreated Monster, who has got stuns on his abilities, and is a kind of super tank, puts massive shields up for you in case you take some damage.
So it sounds, it sounds like I need to put either a rear guard or a Trunda in here in the last spot, maybe.
Definitely a Trunda. I would take Royal Guard out. Royal Guard's not what you need here.
Okay.
So you don't want somebody like him who's going to nuke the wave. You want somebody who's going to kill the spider.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's really important. So when you go with this setup, you don't want that big AoE hit. You want single target hits. Even your Turbolt could work actually.
Okay, he was there. Okay, put him back in, and then I would put in
your Trunda.
Okay, so that would be the new comp.
Yeah, that's what I would try. And what I would also do, if you're building these guys up, if you were building these guys from scratch, and this is their job, yeah, so they weren't in a number of different teams right now. If you quickly go into champions and into masteries, and go into masteries.
Turbolt, yeah, sure.
Yeah, so on any of them really, but if the fourth tier on support tree on the right hand side, it's called Evil Eye. Yep. It's really, really effective for Spider.
There we go.
That's the one. That's the one. So it's really effective for Spider, especially on people that do a single target A1. Is actually this skill is one of the best skills in the game outside of Clan Boss. So it's really great for the arena. It's really great for dungeon content. It's really great for faction wars. It's a massive skill. People overlook it quite often, but this turn meter control early on in an encounter, if you like, is massive. It's massive. And if you've got single target guys, so basically what you're doing here is your first A1 only works on A1s. Your first A1 will reduce the turn meter of your target by 20%.
Yeah. And I can tell you that's huge. Like you're totally right, because I think to all the times, because I have it on many of my champions. Like for example, I have a Nethril who I use in the arena, and you're right. Just like I can basically, when it gets to that point in the fight, if it's like a 3 or 4 or 5 round fight, I can like just basically handpick who I want to reduce turn meter based on who's going to go next to my enemy's team.
Yeah, exactly that, and it just gives you control. And on the Spider, it does the same thing. So it chunks back the turn meter. You decide when you're going to use it. So Nefril's got 2 things then that gives you turn meter ability gain. His stun doesn't work on the main spider, but his reduced turn meter does, and that sniper will work. Evil Eye will work, sorry. And he then becomes your control.
Cool. Okay, perfect.
Yeah, and I guess the other option, which I'm not going to go into massive detail, but it's worth checking out this Stu Gaming video for, is you can do what's called a negative affinity tank. And basically you force the spiderlings to attack somebody that's got an AoE A1, and basically you put them in gear that counterattacks and is lifesteal gear. So that you put a mastery that gives them counterattack, you put them in lifesteal gear, so they take a hit from a spiderling, and then that person counterattacks like 50% of the time. So they're constantly regaining their health. The rest of your team is then doing damage and controlling the main spider, and it's a bit more technical. It's worth watching the video once. It's quite hard to explain just kind of like over a mic. But again, it's an effective way of doing stage 19, definitely, if you don't have an AoE HP burn guy.
Okay, cool. I'll link that video in the description for you guys as well. I was going to build up Rearguard for the clan boss. Could I use her in this comp as well in place of, like, I don't know, Miscreated Monster, or is that just not going to fly?
I don't think she does as good a job as Miscreated Monster does.
Okay.
At the same, she's basically the same idea. So if you didn't
Yeah.
have a Miscreated Monster, so yeah, throw her in.
Got you.
But I think he does a better job of that same role because
Okay.
he puts such a massive shield up. His shield is huge.
It's insane. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
And you
Okay.
also find like he's the negative affinity in this team. What you'd hope is actually, because he puts allied protection on as well, he's taking half the damage that Trunda's going to take. Trunda is the person who's going to get attacked here. So, obviously you need to keep her alive for as long as you can, and he's the guy that does that.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Sounds good. Let's move on to Arena. This is where I really am so curious. This is like my favorite part of the game, Arena. So I have aspirations of being a top Arena player, Hades, and I'm not there yet, obviously, but I want to get there, and that's definitely my main focus of the game. So right now, I'm actually just farming trophies, so I'm not like high or anything like that, or at where I could be. But let's take a look at. I'm going to show you my Arena team here. Let me just try to find like a decent.
Yeah, just while you're doing that, I love the Arena.
Okay.
I absolutely love the Arena. It's like a passion of mine. I do videos which are just kind of like me spamming out some tokens in the Arena and really like trying to push teams, or my Discord guys set me challenges for the week, like do an Arena team that's only epics and try and push plat. So I'm a massive fan of the Arena, and I completely get like your enthusiasm for it.
Yeah, and this is like the most exciting thing that I had. When we decided to do this video, I'm like, oh man, I want to cover Arena so badly because I just love it so much. And this is not. I've switched like ideas at what I want to do inside the Arena a few times, and I have like some different champions that I sub in and out depending on affinity or just testing out new champions. So Seeker is the newest addition to my team here. I built him out for speed, so we can get that turn meter manipulation. And basically the idea behind this comp is manipulate my opponent's turn meters, speed up my team, and get to big N and hack them all down, right? But I don't think it's necessarily viable like end-to-end game Arena. So maybe I'll go ahead and do this match, and you can kind of tell me what you think and kind of what you think in general of maybe different champions that I can include on this team, or anything else that comes to mind.
Sure. So I think So what I'd say is you've got a really good team composition here, and I think all the way through up until low plat, exactly what you're doing here works 9 times out of 10. Mm-hmm. So having a very fast, firstly having a speed lead, a very fast kind of speed turn meter guy, someone who then manipulates the enemy team, and then someone who nukes the rest of their team. That's like how I pushed my way right through Gold 4 before Plat Arena even existed.
Mm-hmm.
And providing you're fast enough, you should win like 99% of the fights.
Define fast enough for end game. I'm sure 99.9% of my viewers aren't there, and neither am I. But like, what is the speed that you need to be thinking about end game? Because right now I believe I'm like 270-ish on my Seeker.
Yeah, nice. That's pretty, for Gold 4, that's really high. What I'd say is, I thought I had one of the fastest speed teams in the game.
Okay, you thought.
Know where this is going.
Yeah.
And basically, I don't. So I've got my Arbiter at 436.
Oh,
sorry, I lied. 336. 336. And I don't beat anyone for speed in top 150 plat. I don't beat a single team.
Oh my word, that's insane to me, because 269 is what I have, Matt. Granted, there's a couple pieces of gear that I could still put glyphs on, but still, even if I got to 279, it's nowhere near where it needs to be.
No, and that's why. So my teams are all based on me thinking I'm going to go second.
Okay.
So basically what I assume is I'm not going to be the fastest guy out the ranks, and therefore I need to be able to take the first hit but still win the game. That's how I build my teams.
Okay.
So it's a slightly different mentality. And actually, over the course of the last few weeks, as Plat Arena has kind of gone live and moved on, we've moved from probably 99%, even more than that, teams that were built like this. So speed into turn meter, into nuke.
Yeah.
And then we've moved on to probably maybe 60% of teams are now high defense, high resistance, tank-based teams. Still with some speed. You still need at least like a couple hundred speed, but nothing like the sort of speeds that I was talking about just then.
Wow, that's crazy that the meta's kind of evolved that much, but it makes perfect sense too. And then I see everybody basically using Tormund still. It seems like, at least in my area on defense, he's like the most popular champion. So just one more kind of high end strategy question, and then we'll kind of go back into stuff that applies to everybody. But in terms of the top of the top, the elite arena comps, like what are some of the most popular offensive teams? Because we have, us normal people have the ability to go look at the top players and see their defensive teams, but we can't see what they're attacking with. It'd be so cool to be able to see that. So, like, who are the most popular offensive comps right now?
Yeah, quite often you'll see actually people running these same defensive comps as their offense, actually.
Oh, okay.
But so you see here, there's top 7 teams there are all still speed teams. And that's because these are the fastest guys
in the game
left.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
okay.
if you've got the speed, you run the speed because you still get the benefit. So if you talk about, let's have a look at perhaps the third team down there, Farting Cow. Yeah, he's a good guy actually. He does a bit of streaming on Arena.
Farting Cow, love it.
Yeah. So his team is based on Arbiter going super fast. Ray will then clear off any buffs that the guys have got against him. He and also freeze. And at that point that somebody's frozen, their game is pretty much done. So you've then got Bigham will come in and do the nukes, put more stuns on, and pretty much the opposition is out the game.
Okay.
So if you're at real high end with this sort of team, he'll have Arbiter in absolutely the fastest gear he can get, even if it's flat stat chests and stuff. She is there to be fast.
Okay.
He probably has got better gear than that, but she will be insanely fast, like probably 350 plus at least, I would say. And he'd have the rest of his team in immunity gear. Okay. And the reason he does that is so that none of his team get frozen by Tormund.
Okay.
So
all right.
That's the way the meta has swung really quickly. So many people have Tormund as their arena defense now that you need immunity gear to get past him, or at least you need immunity gear on someone like your debuffer or your freeze champion or someone like that to gain control of the board.
Mm-hmm.
Or you get the other type of team. If you scroll down a little bit further than this, the other type of team tends to be, there's a good one there. So see number 11.
Yeah.
2 Mountain Kings.
My man.
Yeah, exactly. You're ready for this.
Yeah, I'm ready for this. All right.
So the idea here is you have Duchess hides her team. So her ability is to veil, which basically means that you can't target them. Yeah. So she's got 2 Mountain Kings that hide behind the veil. She's got Tormund there as a kind of a nuisance, really. So prevents people from doing what they want to do in terms of speed manipulation, in terms of healing, because there's a good chance that he is in insane accuracy gear, which means that even if you're in high resistance, he's still going to freeze you. And basically what this team is based on is Mountain Kings come in and one-shot people. And if somehow the opposition get through that and kill one of the Mountain Kings, Duchess can revive them as well. So you have to focus the Duchess, but she is going to be like this insane tank. She will be stacked with defense, stacked with resistance. You can't debuff her. You can't, she's just like stacked to the.
So how do you beat this team? You just go fast. You be the first guy.
So what I've got a roster of about 10 champions that I can call on that are just purely now built for Arena, and I'll have things like I'll have. Madame Cerise is one of my high-end players. So she's actually, although she's an epic, she's extremely good in the arena. So she can clear off that veil for me. I can then nuke down. So she clears off the veil and she also puts decreased defense. Decreased defense is like a game changer in arena. And my aim is to either nuke down one of the Mountain Kings or start to manipulate them. So I will have people like Harvest Jack, who's got fears, who's got decreased speed. I'll have him kind of stacked with accuracy as well. You just got to outthink them, really.
Yeah,
but it's not easy. It's not
having
easy
that
at all.
flexibility, like you said, you have 10 champions, so you're tweaking it basically every match, especially when you get really high, right?
Yeah.
You're tweaking it every match just based on their compositions. So taking it now down to my level again, obviously I have this comp right here. We already discussed I'm going to be working on Trunda and on Rearguard Sergeant, obviously, and I have Cerise as well. So would you, just given the team that I have, would you suggest any tweaks in terms of, obviously, like I said, there's, every team is different that you're facing, so it's hard to give a blanket answer here. But when I have Arbiter too, she'll be, once I do all those missions, which we talked about an hour ago now, it's like,
yeah, sure.
There'll be a lot more to focus on. So like, how would you prioritize for my team? And then, just for my viewers, like, how should they, like, if they're in a position that I'm in, like where they have like a team that's pretty good, but they want to try to make it next level, how should they go about improving it?
Yeah, so I think you've already got the bones of a great team here in terms of speed lead, somebody who manipulates your turn meter up, who's very fast, and then you've got two options at this stage. You either do a AOE debuff, so you actually got a Ghostborn sitting there, but there's quite a few. Madame Cerise does it as well. So if you did AOE decreased defense on the opposition at that point, so you put in your Madame Cerise as an example, or Ghostborn. Ghostborn is great because his ability can't actually be resisted.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, and he does it on auto as well. Big Un should then one-shot their whole team. So as long as you're quick enough, you should one-shot the team.
Well, this team is a little too easy, probably. Let's try to give me a little bit of a challenge and see if he can do it. Let's see if I can get some Spirit Affinity. Well, this might be a little bit challenge. Okay, this should be like a really tough one. So
yeah, this will be interesting. Yeah,
because I think they'll probably outspeed me, but we'll see. Well, I don't know. Okay, they don't. So I guess I can go auto, right, on this? Well, what I want...
You didn't sub in your...
oh, my God. I didn't even put her in. I did it on the last one. Well, we'll see if I can beat it with this team, and then we'll see with Cerise if it changes, if I lose. And I went auto
so the
on
difference
it too.
there, the difference there is, first, if you was manually, you could have cleared...
I would have cleared with this.
Yeah.
Yeah, with the Kymar. But I might still win.
You're still going to win, yeah. But what you would have found when Big Un went in and did his first hit, if Cerise or Ghostborn was there to... so Cerise would actually been brilliant because she would have cleared off all of their buffs anyway, even though your Kymar didn't do it. She would have done it, and she would have decreased their defense. Big Un probably would have one-shot that whole team.
Yeah, it would have been long gone. We wouldn't be here a minute in.
And that's it. And at this level, you probably just want to build a team that can farm quickly.
Yes.
And this is the same sort of... Even if you're in bronze... or low silver, wherever you are, this is the kind of the thing to think about is can I be quick enough to try and win the speed race? That's your first kind of aim. Then have I got somebody that can do a decreased defense across the board, because that makes you hit a lot harder. And then I've got someone that can kind of finish the job. So even at a rare level, you can have Apothecary speeding you up. You can have War Maiden doing AOE decreased defense. And then you can have someone like a Kale or an Aethel or any of the starter heroes doing the nuke. It's really possible to do it with rares.
That's actually a really, really good point. It's a really solid comp, and you're right. You're covering all the major categories there, and you're doing it with a team of all rares, and it sounds like a really solid, squad. All right, I'm gonna try with
it's just solid for farming trophies. It won't get you to endgame, but it's that sort of mindset of that's what I need to make this work is kind of where you want to be.
Okay, so here we're going to, so we just do the decreased defense, and then we go over to Big Un. Well, actually, let's put them to sleep, I guess. And now, so should I do his A2 that hits a little bit harder, or should I go for the turn meter?
Just go for your biggest nuke.
Okay, let's see if we can get them all. Boom, and
Not
close.
quite.
But still, it's fairly easy. Okay, that's really cool. That's kind of a cool comp. Now, what about my it's Trunda, right? Yeah, would she be serviceable in place of Big Un, or was Big Un like just an elite level nuker, do you think?
Biggin is elite level. Trunda is also elite level. You see Trunda in quite a lot of the high-end plat teams, because she's got a similar kit actually. She does hard damage and she stuns. The two of them are both amazing. Both amazing arena.
Cool. So I guess I can just test them both out because I'm going to build her anyway for spiders. So that kind of answers my questions on my team. Unless you see anything else that I'm kind of, I'll show you. And again, hopefully that we can talk a little bit about not just my champions, but just how I built them. If you look at like my debuffer now on this team, Ghostborn, like what do you think of the build that I put on him here? You can see right there. So I have him really fast. Well, not as fast as my Seeker, but pretty fast. And then I didn't need to get his accuracy up at all, which is the luxury of Ghostborn, because it automatically hits. So did you like this like build that I have on him?
Yeah, this build looks really good actually. The build looks cool. I'd say it's spot on. What you could do, so Seeker increases your turn meter by 30%. Is that right?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So one of the things you can do, if you really wanted to be picky on your setup, all you need to be is within 30% of Seeker's speed, because he's going to build the rest.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
That's true. Yeah.
So actually, the rest of your team. So your Biggin, as another example, you could slow your Biggin down and have Seeker speed you up, then Kaimar speed you up. So don't do the Kaimar sleep. You do the Kaimar speed into Ghostborn, AoE decrease defense, and then into Biggin slam. But Biggin, so you'd swap out Biggin's boots for like attack boots or what have you, and
I like
you can slow him right down, but absolutely nuke the team.
Would that be enough? I guess it would be enough because it would be 50% in total. Well, you know what I'm saying. The 20% from Kaimar, 30% from Seeker. So that would be
my Skull Crown, who's my nuker in when I did my arena offense, when I had a sort of speed team running, my Skull Crown had 103 speed and always went before my opposition because of the way I built the team.
Wow. Okay, that's really cool. I'm gonna try that out. Then I'm gonna take the speed boots off and put on like attack, with some like crit damage substats.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, sounds good. Anything else that you feel like is important? Well, actually, I guess one more. I lied. One more question for myself on Arena. If I want to build an end game team, given my champions, or if I wanted to like start a project of building an end game team slowly but surely right now that I'm not even going to use right now, would you recommend building up my Mountain Kings?
Yeah, so I'd say Madame Cerise is going to be in there as one of the top champions.
Okay.
I'd say both Mountain Kings are definitely one of them anyway. Definitely one. I would probably
Sorry to rub
do both,
it in, man. I feel guilty even talking about them.
The only thing we're doing both is you can be kind of cheesed on Affinity. That's the only kind of weakness that you've got. What you don't have at the moment, and Arbiter fills this void, is you don't have somebody that's going to who's going to be annoying. Basically what you want is you want someone in your team that you're forcing your opponent to focus, because you know that person's just going to resurrect whoever you kill.
I got you. Okay.
Yeah,
so Cerise in one Mountain King, that's 2. Arbiter, when I get her, will be 3. And then
and then after that, it would be somebody that basically creates big shields, is very tanky for you. Or someone like Unkillable, so Man-Eater can be really good for this. Okay. Actually, if you scroll down again a touch, you've got Mortu, is it?
Yeah, I do have Mortu, and I still have.
This guy. Yeah, Mortu is actually pretty ridiculous endgame as well.
Because I thought he sucked.
Yeah, so again, you can build him in a similar way to how you build Mountain King, and he's the opposite Affinity. So you build him absolute tank. And all you care about is him unlocking his peril. Yeah. So, and actually, your opponent doesn't focus him because they know that his only danger is his peril. But when you unlock peril, he one-shots somebody and they can't revive him. So, I've faced this guy, and you're treading on eggshells because you know the longer the fight goes on, the more likely you are to lose.
Trigger. Yeah. But the peril is only a 10% chance each turn.
Yeah, I mean, it is, but the end game stuff. So if you've got a Mountain King that's got 100k HP,
it's going to be so many turns.
Massive resist.
Yeah.
A lot of my fights can last. I've had fights that have lasted half an hour.
Wow.
Which is crazy. Yeah.
Okay. All right, so that's really interesting. So I could build up my more. So when I'm building out for endgame, I'm gonna be going like heavy resist, defense, HP, like on my Mountain King.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. So that's the way I would go. I would just make him as tanky as possible. His damage comes from HP anyway. So
Yeah.
And Mountain King's damage here, so it's based on HP or attack. But actually,
Okay,
the
I was gonna
HP
ask,
side scales better.
is that an either or?
We don't get to see any of the multipliers, which is a bit frustrating. But
Yeah.
from all the sort of builds I've seen, HP scales better than attack on him, and obviously gives you survivability as well. So for me, 100%, I'll go HP.
Yeah, Ghostborn has one too. See, his A2 is based on attack speed. So it's like, okay, what do I do?
Yeah, there is a few on these. I think I actually don't know with Ghostborn.
Yeah.
I've not really ever built him to be a damage dealer as such. I've always built him as a kind of debuff champion for me. But there's a few, like Cold Heart's a good one. As a rare, she's got her nuke ability is based on attack and what was it? And crit, is it?
Just enemy.
Oh,
HP.
enemy max HP. Yeah. But the attack makes such little difference to the damage this does.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah.
You don't need to build any attack on your Cold Heart. So it should be interesting to see your build, because it's also going to be part of your Spider team.
Yeah, so this is my build on her. I actually have quite a bit of attack on her.
Yeah, so you really don't need that much. You've got really good crit rate. You've got really good crit damage. You could probably do a bit more accuracy to land her turn meter down.
Yeah, I have crit damage gauntlets. I have attack percentage, kind of a crappy-ish, not crappy, but could be better chest on her.
Yeah, so that's what I'd change. I would change your attack chest to HP chest.
Okay.
100% of the time, any of your offensive guys for your dungeons would be in HP chests or defense chests. But for someone who's got a defense base as low as Cold Heart, you want her in HP.
Okay, sounds good.
So that's across the board. Like anyone that you're trying to run level 20 stuff with in dragons, spiders, fire knights, wherever it is,
give them that HP.
You would assume, you would assume you should put them in attack chest, because that's what class they are. But you just can't keep them alive.
Same thing with my Turvold. Like, again, I'm sure 99% of you guys don't have Turvold, Avoid, Legendary. I got lucky on this pull, but I'm sure you have somebody who's like a big damage dealer for you in Clan Boss or a single target hitter. So I'm starting to feel like I have his build wrong too, because I have him like decked out for damage. So look at how crappy his HP and his defense. It's no wonder he's always dying first on my teams, right?
Yeah, so this build that you've got here is a fantastic build if you've got Arbiter.
But it all comes back to Arbiter, man.
Yeah, without Arbiter, it's just a risky build, really, because he doesn't have the defense.
So take off. Even though this is so hard to take this chest off because of the crit damage 3 roll, 21% on it, But
I mean,
you would still take it off though.
It's a great piece, actually. It's a really good piece of gear.
And I needed the crit rate for it on the set, So it's like one of those, not to get too nuanced into my gear, but it's one of those problems that, like, okay, if I take this off, not only am I losing all of this, but I'm losing, 26% crit rate too, because of the set bonus plus the crit rate roll on it,
Yeah, it's a tough call. I'd say right now, it'd be interesting to do, actually. It'd be interesting for you just to flip that one piece out, put him in and his defense is low, but not like insanely low. Putting him in a equivalent kind of piece of HP gear or defense gear, I'd recommend defense, then seeing what sort of damage he does.
Okay.
Like in comparison.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'll definitely test that out. All right, well, hey, man, this video is super, super long, almost an hour and 10 minutes, so we'll kind of wrap it up here, but I would love to have you back on, maybe talk more in depth about certain strategy or certain, dimension of the game that we either didn't cover, or just go way more in depth, or maybe even inviting like our subscribers on or something to kind of do a 3-person chat about their account would be really cool in the future if you're down for it.
Yeah, that sounds really good fun, actually. Yeah, I'd love to do it. Absolutely.
Awesome, man. Well, hey, thank you so much for being so generous with your time to help me out, take a look at my account. Again, like a huge reminder to my viewers, subscribe to Hell Hades, guys. You won't regret it. Just a fantastic YouTube channel. Just you can't, I could sit here and just take notes on every single one of your videos. Just incredible work, man. So keep it up.
Oh, thanks, man. And actually, I've got to say, I know you're relatively new to the raid scene, but really good, like initial burst onto the scene. Great videos coming through. I've been watching your content for the last couple of weeks, and I've been really like buzzed by it.
Dude, thank you so much. That's really kind of you to say. Thank you. I was telling you earlier, off air, that I look back already at my videos like a month ago. I've only been playing the game for like 4 months, so I look back a month ago and I'm like, oh man, why did I say that? Or just like little things, but I learn more for every video. So it really means a lot coming from you. So thank you, man.
Yeah, no worries. And actually, I do the same. I look back and I think, oh, I made a mistake with this or this.
Yeah,
it's just, we all learn. We learn from the comments that come down below, really. So
indeed. All right. Well, thank you for being so generous with your time. The subscribe link will be for Hell Hades will be in the description, the first line of the description for you guys. So check it out. And thanks again, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah, cheers, Ash. Thanks for having me on. Catch you later, mate.
All right, guys. Hope you enjoyed this mammothly long video. Thank you so much for watching. And as always, take care, guys.